The year is 1853. The city is New Orleans, and in the suffocating heat of a Louisiana summer, a woman by the name of Eleanor Vance did something that, on the surface, seemed like an act of simple charity. A transaction. A matter of 9 cents. She bought a slave boy, but what she didn't know, what she could not have possibly known as she pressed that sliver of copper into the auctioneer's palm, was that she was not buying a boy at all. She was buying a key to a door that had been sealed shut in her husband's soul, a door behind which a secret festered, a secret so dark, so malignant that it would unravel the very fabric of her reality and drag her, screaming, into a nightmare from which there was no waking. This is the story of that boy. This is the story of the portrait in the locked room. This is the story of how a dead man's past reached out from the grave to claim the living. You are Eleanor Vance, and you are a widow. It has been 3 months since your husband, the wealthy shipping magnate Thomas Vance, succumbed to a sudden and violent fever. 3 months of black creep, of whispered condolences, of the suffocating silence of a house that was once filled with the echo of his heavy footsteps and the clink of his brandy glass. The mansion on Satine, Charles Avenue, looms around you like a mausoleum, a monument to his ambition. High ceilings, imported French furniture, Persian rugs so thick they swallow the sound of your footsteps. And yet, you have never felt more alone. Thomas was not a warm man. You knew this when you married him at 17. A poor girl from a bankrupt family, traded for his fortune and his name. He was a collector, not a lover. He collected ships, he collected land, and you suspected he collected secrets. He kept a study on the 2nd floor, a room he forbade you from entering, a room he kept locked with a heavy iron key that never left his person. You accepted this. It was his territory, his sanctuary. But now he is dead, and the key sits in a lacquered box on your vanity. The key is heavy, its teeth worn and ancient, and it calls to you from the darkness of your bedroom at night. It whispers in the silence. It waits. You have not opened the door. A part of you is afraid of what you will find. A part of you wants to preserve the mystery, to keep some part of Thomas intact. But another part, a darker part, the part that was starved for his attention, the part that lay in bed alone for years, while he spent his nights in that room, is consumed by a gnawing, aching curiosity. What was in there? What did he hold so sacred, so secret, that it was worth more to him than the touch of his own wife? It is a Thursday in July. The air is thick like soup. The sky is the color of a bruise. You are sitting in the parlor, fanning yourself, listening to the mechanical tick-tock of the grandfather clock that Thomas had shipped from England. The sound is a relentless reminder of time passing, of your own life ebbing away into nothing. The servants move through the house like ghosts, their faces pale and drawn, their eyes averted. The city outside is alive with the cacophony of a thriving port, the cries of merchants, the rattle of carriages, the distant, mournful sound of a steamboat's horn. You hear a carriage stop outside. A moment later, your butler, a stern-faced man named Silas who served Thomas for decades, enters the room. He holds a silver tray, and on that tray is a folded piece of parchment. Message from the auction house, madam, Silas says, his voice as dry as dust. The sale of your husband's holdings has been completed. The property is being delivered as we speak. You feel a cold knot tighten in your stomach. Property. That was the word Thomas used. He never called them people. He had been a man of commerce, and commerce was a brutal business. He had owned dozens of slaves, worked them on his riverboats, his cotton fields. You had never intervened. You had been taught that was the way of the world. But his death had given you the power to change something, to do something good, to redeem his memory in some small way. You had made the decision to free them. All of them. The solicitor had balked. The other investors had scoffed. But you had been resolute. It was the first and only act of defiance in your life. You had not gone to the auction house yourself, of course. A lady does not go to such places. But you had instructed your agent to sell the assets, the land, the boats, and to purchase the freedom of every man, woman, and child your husband had owned. The solicitor had spread the funds thin. He warned you that for the remaining few, there would be little money left, a token sum. You had agreed. It was the principle, not the price. The doorbell rings, a deep, resonant chime that echoes through the cavernous hall. The sound of heavy boots on the marble floor follows. You hear the murmur of voices, then the sound of Silas returning. He stands at the entrance to the parlor, his face unreadable. "The delivery, madam." The agent says he is the last of them. There was only enough coin to secure one child. The others were sold off to other plantations. You swallow hard, a wave of nausea washing over you. You had failed them. You had tried to free them all, but the greed of men had stolen them away. You had only been able to save one. "Show him in," you say, your voice trembling. The agent enters, a fat, sweating man with a greasy smile. He doffs his cap and bows. "Mrs. Vance," he says, his voice oily. "A pleasure. A sad day, but a generous one. The young master is a bit spirited, but he'll learn. Children are like clay, soft and pliable." He gestures behind him, and a small figure steps into the doorway. Your breath catches in your throat. He is a boy. He cannot be older than 9 or 10. He is thin, almost emaciated, his dark skin stretched tight over a frame of sharp, knobby bones. He wears only a pair of torn, coarse trousers. His feet are bare and caked with dust. His eyes are what strike you the most. They are large, luminous, and the color of amber. They hold an expression that is far too old for his young face. A look of profound exhaustion, of sorrow, of a deep, ancient fear. He is not looking at you. He is looking past you, into the house, as if searching for something. As if he knows this place. His name is Judah, the agent says, snapping his fingers. Or at least that's what the book says. "Speak, boy. Speak to the mistress." The boy, Judah, blinks slowly, his gaze finally focusing on you. He says nothing. He just stares. He's a bit, you know. The agent taps his temple. Not all there, but he's young, strong. He'll make a good field hand, or a stable boy. A bit of food, a bit of discipline, he'll be fine. You look at the boy. He is so small, so fragile. And you see the future he is destined for, a life of back-breaking labor and misery. It is a future Thomas would have approved of. But you are not Thomas. "How much?" you ask, a sudden, fierce protectiveness rising in your chest. The agent grins. "For you, madam, considering the circumstances, call it a token. 9 cents, a mere formality to settle the ledger. 9 cents. The price of a loaf of bread. The price of a glass of wine. 9 cents for a human soul." You walk to the small writing desk in the corner. Your fingers are trembling. You retrieve a small copper coin and drop it into the man's outstretched palm. He bows again, pockets the coin, and is gone, leaving you in the vast, silent house with the boy. Silas hovers in the background, his disapproval palpable. "Madam, the servants' quarters are full. I can have a cot made up in the—" "No, Silas," you say, your gaze fixed on the boy. "He will stay in the house. I want him cleaned up, and I want him to eat. Bring him some of the chicken from the kitchen." Silas bows stiffly. "As you wish, madam." He looks at the boy with undisguised contempt. "You, come with me." But the boy does not move. He does not follow Silas. He takes a single step forward, into the parlor. His bare foot makes a soft, slapping sound on the marble floor. He turns his head slowly, his gaze moving across the room. The paintings on the wall, the heavy drapes, the massive fireplace. He is not looking like a boy exploring a new place. He is looking like a man returning home. He stops in front of a large landscape, painting of the Mississippi River, a painting Thomas had been particularly proud of. The boy raises a hand and points a thin, trembling finger at it. "This is the river," he says. His voice is soft, reedy, but it is also strangely clear, as if he is reciting a fact from a book. It's the color of the devil's mouth. And the boats go down, and they never come back. Silas clears his throat loudly. "Madam, I must protest." The boy is clearly deranged. He is repeating, "No." "Silas, you say your curiosity piqued. Let him speak." You kneel down, trying to meet the boy's gaze. "What do you mean, Judah? What do you know of the river?" But the boy just turns away, his attention now fixed on the grand staircase. He begins to walk toward it, his movements slow and deliberate. Silas moves to stop him, but you raise a hand. "Let him go. I want to see what he does." You follow him, your skirts whispering against the floor. The boy, Judah, puts his hand on the carved wooden banister, the same banister Thomas used to hold as he descended each morning. He begins to climb the stairs, his thin legs moving one step at a time. He doesn't look back. He knows where he is going. The certainty in his movement is unsettling. He reaches the second-floor landing and turns left, his small silhouette swallowed by the shadows of the hallway. The air grows cooler, and the smell of old wood and dust becomes stronger. The doors to the guest rooms line the hallway, all of them closed, all of them silent. But the boy does not stop at the guest rooms. He walks further down the hall to the very end, where a single door stands. A door made of dark, heavy oak. The door to Thomas's study. You feel the ground drop out from under you. A wave of cold dread washes over you, leaving you pale. The boy stops in front of the locked door. He does not try the handle. He simply stands there, looking at it, his small hand raised as if to knock. He turns his head slowly and looks at you. His eyes, those amber eyes, seem to burn in the dim light of the hallway. He is no longer a child. He is a messenger. He wants you to open it, the boy says. He says it's time. Your blood turns to ice. "Ooh, who wants me to open it, boy?" The boy doesn't answer. He just points a thin finger at the door, then back at you. And then he does something that makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand on end. He smiles. It is not a child's smile of curiosity or mischief. It is a slow, knowing smile, a smile that speaks of secrets and a terrible, shared understanding. And you swear, for just a moment, the smell of Thomas's tobacco, a rich, cloying cherry, wood blend, fills the air around you. You stumble back, gasping for breath. "Silas! Silas!" The butler appears, his face a mask of concern. "Madam, take him downstairs. Get him away from this door." Silas roughly grabs the boy by the arm. Judah doesn't resist. He allows himself to be led away, but as he passes you, he leans in, and you hear a whisper, softer than a breath, tickling your ear. He's waiting. They're all waiting for you to see. You stand there in the hallway, trembling. You look at the oak door. The key is in your room, in the lacquered box. Thomas is dead, but something of him remains in that room. Something that was waiting for you. Something that has been waiting for a very long time. And somehow, impossibly, the boy with the amber eyes knows what it is. The rest of the day is a blur of anxiety and dread. You cannot eat. You cannot rest. The boy, Judah, is installed in a small room off the kitchen. You give him a bath and new clothes, but he refuses to speak again. He just watches you. He follows you with his eyes, his gaze a constant, unsettling presence at the edge of your vision. He moves through the house with an uncanny familiarity, as if he were a ghost who had not yet realized he was dead. He walks the hallways, touching the walls, running his fingers over the furniture. He stops at the foot of the stairs and looks up at the second floor. He knows. He knows what is up there. You try to tell yourself he is just a scared, traumatized child. You try to reason with yourself. The mind does strange things under duress. The smell of the tobacco was your imagination, a trick of the senses, a memory triggered by the shock. The whispering was your own guilt whispering back to you. But deep down, you know the truth. There is something wrong about this boy. Something is wrong about this house. That night you lie awake in your vast, mahogany bed. The sheets are silk, but they feel like a shroud. The room is dark, the only light a thin sliver of moon peeking through the curtains. You cannot shake the feeling that you are being watched. You look toward the door of your bedroom. It is cracked open. You always leave it cracked open. A habit from your childhood. But tonight, the crack is wider than you remember. And in the darkness of the hallway beyond, you see 2 points of light, amber, glowing in the shadows. Your heart seizes, you want to scream, but the sound is trapped in your throat. You sit up in bed, clutching the sheets to your chest. The eyes blink, and then they are gone. But you know they were there. You know it was the boy, Judah, standing in the hallway, watching you sleep. You do not sleep for the rest of the night. You sit with your back against the headboard, a silver letter opener clutched in your hand, staring at the crack in the door, until the first gray light of dawn begins to creep through the window. The next morning, the sun is brutal. It blasts through the windows, illuminating every speck of dust in the air, trying to burn away the shadows. But the shadows of the mansion are too deep. Silas comes to you with a letter. It is from the local asylum. It seems they have a ward who is looking for a boy who matches Judah's description, a boy who was brought to the city a year ago and disappeared. They say the boy's name is Livy. Silas reads. He was the son of a plantation cook. He went missing after his mother died in a fire. They assumed he perished in the flames as well. But it seems he may have survived. You read the letter yourself. It is a sad story, but not an uncommon one. The boy had been through a terrible trauma. It made sense that he would be confused, withdrawn, that he would say strange things. You feel a pang of pity for him. Perhaps your imagination had gotten the better of you. Perhaps the boy was just lost and frightened, and his strange behavior was a cry for help. But then you see him. He is standing in the garden, looking up at the second-floor window of Thomas's study. He is just standing there, motionless, a small dark figure against the bright green grass. He looks like a tiny mourner at a funeral. And you realize, with a chill, that he is not looking at the window. He is looking at you as you watch him from the parlor window. He knows you are there. He has been waiting for you. That afternoon, you have another visitor. A tall, gaunt man with a preacher's collar and the eyes of a fanatic. He introduces himself as Father Beauregard. He says he has heard of your husband's passing and wishes to offer his condolences. He has a kindly face, but his eyes are sharp, piercing. They seem to see right through you. I also came to speak to you about the child you purchased, he says. The boy, Judah. There are rumors, bad rumors. The boy is said to be cursed, madam. They say his mother was a voodoo priestess. They say she put a curse on anyone who tried to separate them. They say the boy is a vessel, a receptacle for spirits. You feel a cold knot of fear tighten in your stomach. You had dismissed the boy's behavior as trauma, but the preacher's words give voice to a deep, primal terror you have been trying to suppress. A curse, you whisper. Voodoo. Father, that is just superstition. Is it? The preacher asks, leaning in. The night your husband died, there were reports of a strange light seen in his room. His room, madam. the room you keep locked, and the boy who was found wandering the streets the next morning. What was his name?
Ah, yes. Judah.
The same name as the boy you now keep in your house. It is a name of betrayal, madam. A name of lost souls. He leaves you with these words, a seed of doubt planted deep in your mind. A curse, a vessel, a name of betrayal. You look at the key in your vanity. It feels heavier than it did this morning. Heavier than it did yesterday. You can't stand it anymore. The suspense is eating you alive. The silence of the house is a scream. You have to know. You have to see what is behind that door. You grab the key and march up the stairs. Your heart is pounding. Your palms are slick with sweat. The hallway is dark, even in the afternoon. The shadows seem to reach out for you, trying to pull you back. The oak door looms before you. The lock is old, tarnished. You push the key into the hole. It slides in with an oily smoothness, as if it has been waiting for this moment. You turn the key. The lock clicks open with a sound that seems to echo through the entire house. You push open the door. The room is dark. The heavy velvet curtains are drawn, blocking out the light. The air is thick, stale, and choked with the ghost of Thomas's tobacco. You smell something else too, something earthy, something like wet soil and decay. It is the smell of the grave. You step inside, your footsteps muffled by a thick Turkish rug. Your eyes adjust to the gloom. The room is a study, filled with bookshelves and a massive oak desk, but it is what is on the walls that makes you stop in your tracks. The walls are covered in paintings. Dozens of them. All of them are portraits. Portraits of men, women, and children. All of them are black. All of them have the same unsettling expression in their eyes. A look of silent terror. A look of accusation. But it is the largest painting, the one hanging above the fireplace, that draws your attention. It is a portrait of a young boy. He is perhaps 10 years old. He wears a fine suit, a velvet jacket, and a lace cravat. His skin is a deep, dark mahogany, and his eyes are the color of amber. They are the exact same eyes as the boy Judah, who is sleeping in your kitchen. You stumble backward, a choked cry escaping your lips. It is impossible. It is the same boy, the same face, the same eyes. But this painting is old. The canvas is cracked. The colors faded. It must have been painted decades ago. It is a portrait of a ghost, and then you see the inscription on the brass plaque beneath the frame. The name is not Judah. It is Levi. And the date is 1832. You are frozen, your mind reeling. The boy you bought for 9 cents is not a boy at all. He is a portrait. He is a memory. He is a ghost made flesh, a walking corpse from Thomas's past, and the most chilling thought of all, Thomas knew. Thomas knew the boy was coming back for him. Thomas knew, and he died of fear. That's when you hear it. A soft footstep behind you. You spin around, your heart in your throat. The boy Judah is standing in the doorway. He is no longer wearing the clean clothes you gave him. He is wearing the tattered trousers he arrived in. His feet are bare and caked with dust. You opened it, he says. His voice is a whisper, but it fills the room. You saw what he did. He took my picture. He took my soul. He put me in a box, and then he put me in the ground. He begins to walk toward you. His bare feet don't make a sound on the rug. He is floating. He is gliding. Thomas bought me a long time ago. He whispers, his voice now layered with age, with sorrow, with rage. He bought me from a man who had no use for me. He kept me in this room. He fed me. He dressed me. But he had a sickness, madam, a sickness in his soul. He was a collector, you see. He collected pretty things, and I was the prettiest thing he ever found. But tears are streaming down your face. What did he do to you, boy?
He made me his canvas,
Judah says, and his voice echoes as if from a great distance. He painted me. He painted my face, my soul, my very being. And when he was done, He sealed my portrait in a frame and my body in a chest, and he buried me in the cellar so I could never tell anyone what he did. He wanted me to be his forever. But the dead don't stay dead, madam. Not when they're bound to a picture. Not when their soul is trapped in the paint. He is right in front of you now. You can see the dirt under his fingernails. You can smell the wet earth on him. He reaches out and touches your face with a cold, inhuman hand. His skin is like leather, like the cracked canvas of the portrait. He's gone now, he says. He went to his grave, but he didn't go alone. He took something of mine with him, and you brought me back. You bought me for 9 cents. You freed me from the ground. And now I am free. Free to have my revenge. He smiles, and his mouth opens wider than a human mouth should open. And inside that mouth, there is only darkness. An infinite, screaming void. The last thing you see is his face. The face of the boy in the portrait. The face of the boy you brought into your home, as it melts and warps, becoming something ancient, something monstrous. And the last thing you hear is a whisper from the grave, a whisper that is not his own, but the voice of your dead husband, Thomas, screaming in eternal agony. No, no, please. I'm sorry. Let me go. Let me go. You scream. You wake up screaming, sitting bolt upright in your bed. The sunlight is streaming through the window. You are in your room. It is morning. You take a ragged breath, trying to control your racing heart. It was a dream. It was just a vivid, horrible nightmare. But then you see the key, the iron key to Thomas's study, sitting on your nightstand. It is covered in mud, and there is a single, perfect fingerprint of mud on your cheek. You rush to the stairs, taking them 2 at a time. You race down the hallway and throw open the door to Thomas's study. The room is exactly as you remember it, but the portrait above the fireplace is gone. In its place is a bare wall, the paint a slightly different shade, as if something has been hanging there for a very long time. A long, long time. You hear a laugh from behind you. A soft, childish giggle. You spin around, but there is nothing there. Just the echo of a voice that sounds like it came from a very long time ago. And then you see it. A small, folded piece of paper on Thomas's desk. You walk to it, your hands trembling. You open it. It is written in a child's handwriting. A careful, practiced scrawl. The note says, "I'm home."